What's up, Instagram? It is, what day is it? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Hey. I hope everybody had a good day today. And I hope you're still having a good day if you're in a time zone where there's still day, maybe in LA or San Francisco or Seattle or Hawaii. Gosh, I hope someone's in Hawaii right now. I would love to be in Hawaii right now. I love Hawaii. It's my favorite place in the world. And it's, how's everybody grinding today? Everybody doing all right? I hope being sheltered is treating everyone well. What's up, Sharoom, Amanda McCauley? Hi, Jane. Hi, Becky720. Hi, Tammy Wilson. I miss Hawaii. I love it too. Golly. So I have a cup of tea here. I have a cup of dandelion tea, which is apparently very good for you for digestion and purifying. So why not have some tea? Hi, Becky720. Thank you for doing these. You're very welcome. I love doing these, and I am looking for more cool things to do with this format, and that is to come. So, yeah, we're talking about doing your dream. We're talking about living your great life. I want to thank again my guest on Monday, Mr. John Viner, who is hilarious. And how about Eric Stanley last night? What an inspiring dude. Love that guy. Spoke with him today. He was giving me some social media tips and some YouTube tips. And so stay tuned for all that. I'm calling a giraffe picture in for my friend who loves them. She just got over COVID-19. Ouch. Sarah Dawn, 1985. Well, you're a good friend, and I'm glad that your friend is getting over that. And for Amanda McCauley, all I have to say is Rosa. It's an inside joke. But so those were my last couple guests. And then tomorrow night, I've got Alex Sulkin. Hilarious dude, running Family Guy. He wrote the Ted movies, Million Ways to Die in the West. He's done lots of cool stuff in the business. He's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to talking with him tomorrow. Tonight, we got my main man, Al Thompson. Al is an actor, lives in New York, and he and I met in 1997, I believe, at an acting workshop down at the base of Manhattan. I think it was off Hudson Street. He can verify some of that. And I've known Al for a very long time. He's a very good friend. He did a bunch of voices for us on the Cleveland show. He has been in tons of stuff, which I'm just going to ask him about when he gets on here, because I can't remember everything he's done. He's got a bunch of TV credits, and he was in a Wes Anderson movie as well, played Danny Glover's son. And I think that was in the Royal Tenenbaums back in the day. So Al lives a positive life. He's hustling. He is doing his best thing to not ever have to get a job. And I don't think he will ever have to get a job other than what he loves doing, which is acting. So, yeah, man, Al, jump on this sucker whenever you're ready. I'm just scrolling through and making sure you didn't try yet. And so today was a better day for me than yesterday. I'm just sort of enjoying the time and not too stressed about things. And I got Al here for just a quick sec. I'm looking forward to catching up with this dude. So I'm going to get the tea bag out of the tea, if you know what I'm saying. What is up, Al T? How you doing, man?
On, brother?
I'm taking the tea bag out of the tea. So, do you have COVID-19?
Is that a tasty tea bag, my friend?
It's a tasty tea bag, and I will not gargle it, but I will drink the tea. You feeling all right, buddy? You're not sick, are you? How sick are you? You don't have the thing, do you?
I'm sick with laughter.
All right. Well, you got a little cough going there. What's up? You all right?
All is well in insane New York City.
Yeah, man. So my wife Sarah is yelling at you, Al! Exclam, wave, heart. Um,
Hey, Sarah.
we have had some good times. Sarah's upstairs. I'm
Okay,
downstairs, and
nice.
yeah, man. So how you hanging? Where are you right now?
All is well. Just, doing the social distancing thing and just trying to follow all these new rules, man. I'm in New York City, which is the
Hmm.
mecca of people just not wanting to pay attention and listen because New Yorkers are so hardcore and run the world
Yeah,
as they think, and we are losing that battle. So it's tough out here, but family and
yeah.
friends are doing good and surviving. But New York is just mentally a tough place.
I can't imagine, man. I've spoken with a couple of friends up there, and you and I talked last week, and
Yeah.
man, there's just I feel so fortunate to be where I am, but my heart goes out to you guys and to everyone up there that's just right at the epicenter, man.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And New York is already so congested and small and just the space and like we were talking, earlier, it's just like if you are a husband and wife and two kids and you're in an apartment, like, and usually
Yeah,
an average New York apartment has maybe 100 apartments. It's just like one person in your building can just, light the whole building up. So everybody's
yeah,
so
yeah,
stacked on top of each other. So that's definitely a tough situation.
yeah, man. Um, hey, your connect. Do I look all right to you? Your connection is a little wonky, I think, from my end. Are people seeing this at all? It's a little bit of delay.
Really? It
Um,
seems everything is
yeah,
fine to me. What are the people saying? What's going on, people?
yeah, you seem to be breaking up a little bit. Yeah, blessings to
Are
you,
people
Al
saying
T.
that?
Remember my friend Amanda?
Hey,
Um,
what's going on?
yeah. Hey, you know what? Why
Delay?
don't you dive
Okay.
off of there
Wait,
and then
Amanda
come.
said we both look fine. She said I look very handsome. I think she typed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that goes without saying. All right, we're
Oh
hearing
yeah.
all good. All right, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
people are
All right.
saying all good.
Breaking
Okay.
up just a bit.
Oh, Penny. Jesus, you have to be so
Little
honest.
fuzzy. Hey, Bunt.
Little
There's Bunt.
Bunt. Hey, my man
Yeah.
Bunt.
You think it's because you're backlit? Is there a way to
Oh,
cheat that,
yeah.
or
Let
are
me
you in
try
it?
to slide it over here and see what I could do.
All right, all right, all right. A
A
bit
little
zwicky.
Zwicky. Okay, that's a new
Julia
one.
Pens, Penny Mail.
Let me see if I can switch this up here for the people. For the people. All
All
right.
right. Uh-oh.
Is this a little bit better? I know this lighting is weird.
No, it's actually
Is this
worse. Hey,
better?
dive off and just rejoin me.
Ah,
Rejoin me. Let's
okay.
try it.
All right.
That'll
We'll
work.
rejoin it. We'll get it going. All right.
He'll be back. I promise. He's a man of his word. He's not just going to leave us here. If I know Al Thompson, he'll be requesting to join this any moment because he loves being on screen. And the screen loves him, and the eyes love him. Worse now. All right, so Trib, now that I'm off, is it bad? I mean, or now that he's off, am I blurry? Am I the cause of our pain here? Um, I am hanging. I am just kind of in limbo here. Can people hear me? Am I on here, or do I have a bad connection? That is my question. Thank you, Jane. All right, so I'm fine. Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll wait for Al. I think he's on the phone with CompuServe or whoever he's getting his signal from. What's up, Scott Sutton? How you doing, man? Hi, Ashley Russ. Thank you for all your advice. This thing's going to go huge now. Amanda, how are you? Bunt, I'm not blurry. Crystal clear. My wife is telling me I'm good. Thanks, honey. And I am adding Al back, and let's see if his dial-up and his handy cam can capture a beautiful picture. You, that's so much better.
This is way better.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Luckily,
I
I
think so.
understand lighting techniques.
There you
Yes.
go. There you go. Um,
Oh, come
all right.
on.
So where'd your lighting go? All right, there you go.
There we go. All right. Weird light. We
All
are
right.
back.
All right, we're back. So, hey, man. So, for the last couple weeks, I've been talking to friends, who I know are following their passion. And, you're a guy that's always done that. And I had some great folks on last week, some people earlier this week. And, a lot of actors, had a great musician on last night. And we're just talking about like, what led you on your creative path? Like when you were a kid, was it when you were a kid, did you realize you wanted to be an actor, or you in a school play and notice the babes like that? Or, what got you going at the beginning?
Well, first of all, just so everybody knows and to be clear, when I was a child, my plan was to be a slot receiver for the Oakland Raiders and to
Yes,
play
yes.
for Al Davis and the
Hmm.
wonderful Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson, and Al Davis.
And
That
Brad.
was the original plan.
Got it, got it. Now, I remember I met you not long after that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and so you're a huge Raider fan. We'll touch on that in a minute, but talk
yes.
about when you did you just decide to take some acting classes? So, was that did you do it early on, or you and I met, let's just say in I think it was 1997 down
Yeah,
at the New York
yeah,
Performance Works,
yes. New York
studying
Performance
under
Works.
a,
Yeah.
a great man by the name of Richard Scanlon.
Yes, Richard Scanlon. Yeah, that was an interesting situation for me. I wasn't into acting at all. I wasn't into
Hmm.
being popular or performing or any
What
of
were you,
that stuff.
21? How old were you?
Yeah, I was probably like 19, 20-ish. I was super young. And
Okay.
a couple of buddies of mine, they were into theater and acting and stuff. And in school, they were like, hey, you should come and, maybe be in the school play. And I was like, that's not really my thing, and
Yeah.
they were like, well, you can do other things if you don't want to be in front and on the stage. I was like, oh, like what? They were like, oh, you
Right.
could work with the director, you could work in this department, or you could work lights. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, lights sound pretty interesting, because in my mind, even if I messed up, you don't know that I messed up. You don't know that it's Al Thompson that missed a spotlight cue over there. So I was like, this feels safe.
Well, I remember about 3 minutes ago, you were terrible at lighting.
Say the
Al,
question again.
I said, I remember about
Yeah.
3 minutes ago, you were terrible at lighting.
Oh, the lighting got bad? Oh,
No, now it's better. It's better now. You
oh,
started
there
off
we
with a
go.
light bulb behind your head.
Oh, behind me. Okay. All
No, that
right.
was before. That was
Oh,
before.
before,
We're
before.
having
Okay.
we're having technical difficulties here, man. I hope you can see me all right. So
Yeah,
so
I can
you
see you perfect.
so you said I'll be part of the show, but I want to be behind the scenes. Let me just hang back and shine the light on the people on the stage.
Yeah, exactly. And you got an automatic A just for participating. So I
There
was
you go.
like, cool. So that was my first exposure to being able to see how production worked, how a lighting department worked, how a director directed, how an assistant director worked, and
Right.
how actors would rehearse. Because in my mind, just outside consumer looking in at movies and TV shows, I didn't know that when you did a performance that the script was broken down. I thought, oh, you just had to get this big script of 100 and some odd pages, memorize it, and be good to go. So that was my fear until I got to see how a production was somewhat deconstructed.
Okay. And so then what made you want to do the acting part? The fact that all the babes were all over the actors?
For me, it was like, you know what? Let me kind of try this out, kind of thing. And I knew that I was funny. I was a funny guy in high school. If it was
Hmm.
like class clown, I was probably like number three, because number one usually probably got kicked out of school, and my mother didn't play
Right.
that.
Too
So
funny.
yeah, you can't be too freaking funny. And so I had a
Yeah.
natural knack, and
Well,
then just me
I beg
growing
to
up,
differ.
and just me growing up in New York, me growing up in New York and Harlem, which is all about just snapping and joking on people and talking about your sneakers and this and that. You always had to be prepared regardless of anything. So I was like, okay, I feel like I have a little talent here. So let me kind of give it a shot and just see. So, I started way at the bottom, everybody. Like a lot of people, you might feel their overnight successes and all this jazz. But for me, I started at the bottom, straight extra work, just like going on
Mm.
sets, getting a brown bag lunch and maybe $75 to be an extra in the background. Music videos, with no rules. You can have music videos have for 20 hours, maybe get fed one and a half times. So I really cut my teeth on really just understanding this world and kind of watching things behind the scenes as
Yeah.
well. And so it's interesting because with our experience, how we kind of met and connected, it was obviously very early, but I always had like this kind of grinding, hustling mentality. And I don't
Mm.
know where that came from, but I remember, okay, you want to act, you're in New York City. Thankfully, I'm born and raised there and in the Mecca already. So half of that is taken care of. So you want to take acting classes. So New York Performance Works, which was on Chamber Street. It's a weird acting school because it's like an old bank. So you're like
Yeah.
walking around, and you see these vaults and these bars. And you're like, oh,
A
this is a
cool
weird.
building.
Yeah, it's a really cool but weird place. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. And so I remember taking Richard Scanlon's comedy class because they had a comedy specific class.
Yeah.
And then you had already been going to the school. And I don't know if you remember or realize any of this. And so Richard shows uh, your tape of a lot of the footage that's on Cross-Eye TV. So he's
Yeah. Yeah.
showing it to us. He's talking. He's bragging about you, his student. And I'm
Short
like, oh,
films that
this,
I've done. Yeah. At that point with Patrick, my brother.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And so what I did was because this was VHS time, he had the VHS box on top of, like high school style. It had the big TV under it. It was a VCR, but it was all on this movable rack. I took the box and then no camera phones. So I took a piece of paper and I copied down very creepily your name and address that was listed on the box.
Oh, great.
So I took that, being a weird hustler, and I said, you know what? This guy is doing stuff. This stuff was really funny. It was great. And I mailed my headshot to you.
Yeah. I
But
remember
that's
this.
how I got the information. So I
Right.
mailed it, and I was like, probably wrote some little note in there. Please, Mr. Henry, I would love to work with you, and I've seen your videos, and you are outstanding. And
Right.
so you
That's
read
how you
my
used to talk. That's how you talked when I met you.
exactly. You
Yeah.
read my wonderful, heartfelt note to you, and you called me up, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy."
Yep.
And I can't. I want to say you had auditions at New York Perform, if I
Yep.
remember.
We did for
And it,
yeah.
yeah,
We back then. Again, people have watched some of these things over the last couple of weeks. I really wanted to be on SNL, and I was living in New
right.
York. I had shot a bunch of commercial parodies that were on that VHS tape you were talking about. I
Hmm.
was doing classes at the Upright Citizens Brigade. I was doing classes down at the New York Performance Works. I was meeting whoever I could. And then Patrick and I, my brother and I, got called in to meet with Lorne Michaels, and his team had a college cable network called the Burley Bear Network. And what they
Hmm.
would do is they would send out programming. They would literally send a tape of programming out to like 600 colleges every week. So they
Hmm.
had all these regular shows, and they wanted little interstitial, 30-second to 2-minute pieces to go in between um, their programming. And so they gave us some money and said, go down to Virginia and, or go wherever you want and shoot these. We need 20 of them. And so we connected, Patrick and I connected with Bunt Young, who I know is watching this, and he's a
Yeah.
cinematographer here in Virginia where I am right now. And so I had all these sketches written, and Patrick had some. And so we said, yeah, let's go do it. And so we scheduled it all, and we came down and shot 20 shorts in a week. And we had a thing where, and here's where you come in. One of the shorts was a reenactment of something that really happened, And when Patrick was at the Rhode Island School of Design, I was the subject in his student films. And his very first film featured yours truly, just me, sitting on the edge of his bed, just talking to camera about how hard it is to make a movie. And so we had big old lights, a big old film camera pointed at his bed, and I'm sitting there on the bed, and it was late, and I'd been drinking, and he's like trying to do all this technical stuff, and I'm just like sipping on beers, just like riffing and doing whatever. And so we called for a pizza, and the pizza guy answered, came to the door, which was in plain sight of his bedroom. And so I was sitting there, and then when he went to answer the door, I just flipped over and laid on my stomach and pulled my pants down and had my ass out. So I'm laying facing his pillow with my ass up, like with all this camera shit pointed at me. And so I could hear him getting the pizza, and he's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, man, sure, yeah, okay, keep the change, whatever. The guy leaves. About 3 seconds later, he's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He like lost his shit. And so we wrote we wrote that into one of our sketches, because that's a perfect college humor type
Right.
joke you
Big
would play
time.
on somebody. And so we wrote that sketch, and so we hired Eric Gelman, who played me on the couch. And you're bitching at, and when you auditioned, it's you bitching at your obnoxious roommate, and then a really good looking girl comes and orders a pizza, or brings the pizza that you had ordered.
Right.
And the guy flips over, gets his ass out, and she mistakes you guys for a gay couple or whatever. And so what you did in your audition was, at the end of it all, you didn't just stop and be like, oh darn. You ran to the door and opened it up and just yelled out, hey, I'm not gay. I'm not like, just a perfect, it was hilarious. And so you got the part. And then, and we filmed that, and that was one of the 20 shorts, and that's how you and I met. And
Right.
yeah, so that's the kind of stuff you do along the way. And again, this is all coming from shit that I thought was funny. This wasn't me going to a network and saying, hey, I want to write a show. I want to write a Who's the Boss. I was like just doing what I knew how to do. And you were doing the same type of thing, putting yourself out there. So you started auditioning. You started getting commercial work, didn't you? Pretty quickly?
Well, the interesting part of how, again, you come into play, I don't know if you remember this. I know I told you, but it's probably been a while. So, audience of independent artists and actors, pay attention. So, the interesting part was I had got randomly called at my home, because this was before cell phones, by, I want to say, ABC Disney. So I get this call, and I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, we want you to audition for this new show that we have. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I had no agent at the time or anything. I understood the game, and I understood how things work, and everybody's always trying to get an agent, but I'm getting a call from a major network
Producer.
to come in and audition for this thing. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I go to the audition, and it was like a sketch comedy kind of thing where they wanted characters and things like that, almost like probably like a Mad TV-ish kind of thing. And so I go in the waiting lobby and everything, and I asked the casting director, I'm like, thank you for bringing me in, etc. But how did you get my information? Because I hadn't really done anything yet. And they said, oh, we saw you on the Henry Brothers directing reel.
Sweet.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So
there you go. We're looking for a handsome young African-American homophobe to play. I'm just kidding. Just based on that piece.
So I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I go in, I was prepared. I had some characters put together and things like that. And I went in an audition, and literally after the audition, the casting director was like, wow, I can't believe that you don't have representation. And I was like, are you going to do something about it to help brother out with some representation? And so literally 2 days later, I started getting calls. I got calls from William Morris. I got calls from Fifi Oscar, a couple of other companies, and
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Cornerstone Talent.
Hmm.
And so, because of me being on your reel, I ended up
Yeah.
getting this amazing appointment, which I had. Yes, I should have been there, but I had no business really being in there because I didn't have representation, but they called me
Right.
directly. And
Right.
then that's how things kind of kicked off. And
Okay.
so,
And so
once
that was
I
in
got,
LA?
that was in New York.
That was
That
in
was
New
in New
York.
York.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
perfect.
in New York because, I had got the commercial agent and I was fortunate enough to really get some good auditions and things. And I started booking commercials and I took a commercial acting class. So I knew what I was doing. And so that was a great experience doing commercials from Nike to AT&T, this
Yeah.
and that.
Hey,
At that time that
real
was serious bread and butter.
real quick.
Hmm.
I, I need to tell everybody that you are Al Thompson and you are my good buddy from of 25 years.
Yes.
I love how the internet or I love how social media has gotten us to the point where you have to be extra nice. And I appreciate this row your boat. It's funny. It's like, who is this? And then right after the general question, no hate, like as if who is this? And it does. If we were on Twitter, I would say, well, who the fuck do you think it? Like, but no, it's friendly Instagram, and I just think it's hilarious that you just have to qualify that you're a nice person, and I understand that and I appreciate that. So you started booking some commercials. Um, in New York. And you were what, like
Yes.
21, 22?
Yeah, I was probably in my 20s at that point. Yeah, early 20s.
Right on. And so just to people that aren't familiar with the commercial audition process, basically what you do is you get, it's all a numbers game. There's a ton of people going out for
Hmm.
most of these commercials. And when you hit a commercial, a national commercial, you can make some good money for a day's work. You get paid,
Hmm.
forever if you're in some great commercial. And so it's
Right.
enticing and it doesn't take long to go audition because you don't really need to prepare very much, but you're
Hmm.
just hustling. I just remember being
Right.
there in the thick in August, just walking with a backpack on with a change of clothes for different for different auditions and just sweating,
Right.
just being
Hmm.
so freaking hot. But you're hustling and you're hustling. And I remember one time I went into audition for like Oscar Mayer bologna or something, and it was off 20. It was right around the corner from where I used to live there on Park in like 21st, right in that general area. And so I went in for this thing, and it was at the time it was like you go in the waiting room and you see everyone in there looks like you, and you can see that they are like. So I'm in there with like a bunch of 30-year-old starting to go bald white dudes, and so you go and you sign in and whatever. And then they were casting in the next room like the most smoking hot, late teens, early 20s, just great looking women for that shampoo commercial where they're all in there like washing their hair like and making a noise like they're having an orgasm. You remember those commercials? They're just, like going crazy. And so you would just see this smoking hot woman walk in, they close the door, and then you'd hear all that, and then I just look around, and it's like a bunch of 30-year-old balding dudes holding their baloney. So get it, Oscar Mayer?
Yes.
I've told that
Yes.
story before, but it truly is just numbers, and you just
Yeah.
go in, and it's like I hope I hit one. And I had just for like a year and a half before I hit a couple good ones. But how about
Right.
you? You got them right off the bat.
It was a weird kind of transition because
Herbal essence.
I got a few kind of small ones and then I hit the big ones, which was really cool. But it's like you're 100% accurate. You go in there, all of you guys look exactly the same, maybe a little different hairstyle or whatever. But what I always enjoyed about the commercial aspect of it was it was never really about your credits or how many movies you did or how many
Right.
TV guest appearances. You could literally go in there and just genuinely be the funniest guy or genuinely be a guy that really just got the material because usually it's 30, 60 seconds. That's a very short time to show your talent on
Yeah.
top of it's not about you, it's about this product that you're
Yeah.
selling. So how can you
Yeah.
highlight this product but also fall back from that? So I really enjoyed that aspect that everybody that would go into a commercial audition legitimately had a shot versus you
Yeah.
going in a lobby and there's this celebrity, that celebrity, and you're like, Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
But that,
Yeah.
and commercials, you can make really good money to
Yeah.
sustain, your career and
Keep the
buy
dream
more
going.
headshots and, yeah,
Yep.
keep the dream
Absolutely.
going. So that was always a
Absolutely.
really great, especially back then when commercials would run a lot longer, you would make more money.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you were lucky, you could get a NyQuil commercial that would run during winter and then maybe they pick it back up the next winter, you know?
You know when it would run? It would run at 2 in the morning.
Right, when everybody's up sniffling and sneezing, running to the bathroom to get tissues.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Exactly. So
Um,
that
so,
was
so
my initial kickoff.
right. Okay. So that puts some money in your pocket, and to finance your dream, I know you've got some real estate too, and I'm
Yes.
talking about passion in life, and you put yourself in a position to be flexible with your time to keep
Mhm.
pursuing. And why are you ignoring us? I'm not ignoring anyone. I play SpongeBob. Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't believe it. Um, is that Tom Kenny? Is that Tom Kenny? Tom Kenny plays SpongeBob. We don't mean to ignore you. What do you want us to say to you? We're not trying to ignore you. Is that your friend, Al?
No,
Me
that's your
too.
friend. You
You
have
may
all
be
the
an actor.
friends
Oh,
in
you're
here. I only
sweet.
have like 5 friends in life, so you have all the friends. Hi,
Shit.
hi, my 5 friends
Um,
here.
hey, Mike, have you ever experienced performance jitters professionally? Sure. If you're not a little nervous, you don't, you shouldn't be there. We did. You were at the Carnegie Hall show when we did
Yeah,
Family Guy Live.
yeah,
I was pretty nervous before that.
that was a big
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, yeah, that was great fun. I sang as Herbert. I'm gonna post that at some point. And yeah, man, I was nervous as hell, but it worked out fine. And but yeah, do you get nervous before a take on something, or talk to me about the Royal Tenenbaums? That was a big break for you.
Ah, yeah, the
Were you
Royal
nervous there?
Tenenbaums, that
Talk
was a
about how that
trip.
happened.
The biggest thing that I could say with that situation, with a lot of young up and coming actors, a lot of times they don't do the research and they don't find out, who's directing this, what have they done before, who's in it. It's so easy now because of IMDb and the internet, but I
Sure.
knew what was going on in that situation. And so I went in and auditioned and met Wes Anderson. He actually read with me in the audition. He played Danny Glover as I was auditioning. So that was cool. And then we got a call. They offered me the role. And my agent was like, look, let's not play around with this deal and try to go back and forth for this or that or more money. Like, this is something you need to take it and we need to just go with it. And I was
Yeah,
like, okay,
absolutely.
cool. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. And so I knew,
And where was this? Were you in New
this was,
York when you auditioned, or
yeah,
LA?
yeah, this was in New York.
New,
This was in New
New York.
York. Yes. And so for me, it was like I knew everything that was going on. I knew who was involved in the film, and I knew that it would be good. But I also took the time out to watch his previous movies,
There you
Bottle
go.
Rocket, and I think there was one other one that was
Yes.
prior to that. But a lot of people don't watch movies or projects that the director,
Yeah.
did prior and such like that. So I basically,
That's
even though.
such great advice. That's a
Yeah.
great thing that you did.
Yeah, yeah. So once I got on the set and everything was happening, and I mean, we shot a lot of it in Harlem, but there was just
Rushmore. Rushmore was the other
yeah,
one, fun
Rushmore.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there were
So you
just so
shot.
many trailers on the block, because every star had a trailer. Gwyneth had a trailer. Bill Murray had a trailer. Like it was just crazy,
Yeah.
and everybody was so cool, man. That was
Did you
like
meet all of
such.
them?
Yeah, I met everybody, and people before were like, "Oh, Ben Stiller, I heard he's kind of, funny with stuff and not that nice." And I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna meet him and see how he acts with me. And
Yeah,
Ben
yeah.
Stiller actually was the person that talked to me the most. He was
You told me
so
that.
he was so curious about me, and we chatted, and he was like, "Oh, where are you from? Where'd you go to high school?" And we talked the most on set. Bill Murray was the silliest guy on set and the most fun. But the two things, like I was saying before, I understood everything that was going on. So I don't know why I did this, but I had one of those disposable Kodak cameras, and
Hmm.
because it also shot in Harlem, I actually brought my mom to set. So my mom got
Yeah.
to meet Danny Glover. My mom got to meet
Sweet.
Gene Hackman, and I had this little disposable camera and took pictures with everybody, which I have today, which maybe I'll post over the next few days. But it was such a monumental experience. But I'm just glad I had an opportunity to do it and also document it, because a lot of times you get these opportunities and you don't know when the next job is going to come around. You don't know when the next opportunity. So I'm a
That's
big
right.
believer in documenting, these great accomplishments that you have in your career, whether it's sports or acting or whatever, just in life. I think it's important to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say something as Cleveland. Hi, I'm Cleveland. And and Al, you played Walt, didn't you?
Yes,
On the
I was.
Cleveland show, one of Rollo's little buddies. You and Will I Am played Rollo's buddies.
Oh, that was Will
Um,
I Am. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy. I had
There
no
you go.
idea.
You're a
Yeah,
black eyed pea all of a sudden.
it's funny because I remember you contacted me in casting to audition originally for the voice of Cleveland Jr. And I remember I was shooting a movie,
Yep.
uh, this movie that no one should ever watch called Dumping Lisa in Vermont.
Okay.
And so again,
Okay.
this is part again
Is
my
it about a woman who can't stop pooping?
so again, this is for my
They just
artist.
call her Dumping Lisa.
Right, exactly. For my independent artists, we talk about the hustle and making things happen. And so what I did was I was on this movie and I get this call from casting and before phones again, and they're like, we need you to record your voice and these lines for this audition for this new show called The Cleveland Show. So I'm like, all right, well, I got to make this happen. So I go up to the sound guy on the current production
Right.
and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? I'll give you a couple of bucks or
Oh yeah.
whatever, but I need to record this audition. So the sound guy was super cool. So he put a little setup in his hotel room closet so I could record the audition and then send it to casting. And so
Right.
I did all of that
So
and
you,
didn't get the role of Cleveland Jr., obviously, but I was able to get the role of Walt. But I could have just been in
yeah.
Vermont, like, I don't know where I can record this voice. Oh my God. I guess it's not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
happen. But it's like you
Yeah.
have to put that foot forward to be like, all right, how am I going to make this happen? There's a way.
You have to. You have
You
to
have to make
pursue
it
every
happen.
opportunity that feels right. So,
Yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
and you were great. But once Kevin Michael Richardson stepped in there, he
Oh,
was Cleveland Jr. And
he's off the
you know,
hook with it. But I
he's
really enjoyed all the seasons playing Walt on the show, Rollo's best friend. And I think
mhm.
my top two moments of working on the show, well, I'll say there's probably three, but one was
I know
obviously,
what one of them is.
yeah, what one of them is, because
You got a photo op.
well, that one was cool, but the big one I didn't get a photo out. But yes, that was a cool opportunity. But actors, when you are on a show or a film, you have to attend table reads. And so I had the
Uh huh.
pleasure and honor of working on the show and being part of table reads for the show. So all the producers
Yeah.
there, all the actors who are
Yeah.
doing all these voices. And so I was in an episode where the guest star of the episode was Kanye West,
Oh yeah.
which was pretty cool. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
to be in that room with all the talent, was myself, Reagan Preston Gomez, Sanaa Lathan, Taraji P. Henson was in that episode,
Yeah.
and Kanye and Kevin and all of us
Yep.
brown faces at the table,
I
just
love it.
crushing the script. That
Yeah.
that was that was definitely a great
Those
opportunity for me.
those were so much fun. I miss the table reads more than anything. We would just rock those rooms would be just rocking. And
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yeah.
know, and Kanye was so cool. He would just show
Yeah.
up. It wasn't no entourage, nothing. To be like him and a driver, and he would show up on time, completely prepared, pitching new ideas. He was like just game. He
Yeah.
he enjoyed making the cartoon, so he was awesome. And then all those folks you just said, and so many more. And no, I did not say the N word. Did you say it, Al?
No,
I
nobody said
don't.
that.
Hi, I'm gonna say hi to you. Hi, Trolley. Is it Trolley XX? Hi, Trolley XX. Giggity. Yeah, I missed the Cleveland show. I do too. We're talking about that.
Yes,
Yes, the
yes.
Cleveland show is on Hulu, and yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
So, but let me rewind a
oh,
little bit, my
Dan,
friend.
Dan the alien is the answer to that other question. I play in the Orville. Go
So
ahead. I'm sorry,
let
Al.
me rewind on that a little bit. So when I got Tenenbaums, I was also shooting another movie at the same time. That
Okay,
movie was the first Nicholas Sparks book to become a feature film.
okay. What
A
what was that?
a Walk to
A Walk to
Remember.
Remember. That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
That's right. With
I get
starring Mandy
stopped.
Moore. Was she the
Mandy
lead on that?
Moore. It was Mandy
Yeah.
Moore's first acting debut.
Right.
And
Was
people,
Reagan in that too?
no, Reagan wasn't in that. She was actually in the movie I did after Tenenbaum, so you have a good memory. That was with
Okay. I
Nick
remember you worked
Cannon.
together.
Yeah, Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon.
Oh,
But
that's right.
a
That's right.
Walk to Remember, that was a great experience and opportunity. And it was one of the first times that I ever got a movie where I had to be away for like a long period of time. I think we were gone shooting in Wilmington, North Carolina for about 2.5 months. So it was like, oh, this just gets
Yeah.
real. This just got real. Not
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
am I getting paid, I'm not going to be home. That was trippy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, I mean, the actor's life can be quite nomadic. Anyone that
Oh, yeah.
works in the industry, you go and you shoot a feature in Vancouver for 6 months. You go to North Carolina, you go to Atlanta, you go anywhere in
Hmm.
the world, really. But it's a cool, great life. I'm talking to Al Thompson, my longtime buddy out of New York City, and who voiced the bear on our show, the Cleveland show. The bear Tim was voiced by Seth MacFarlane for the first two seasons, and then Jess Harnell took over when Seth got just too busy. And yes, I have been on American Dad. Have you been on American Dad?
No, I never did American Dad. I did Family Guy, but not American Dad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's Family Guy's not bad. Somebody was just asking for the Cleveland laugh. So yeah, man. So what else is going on? So your mindset now, I mean, do you ever I remember for a while, weren't you writing something? Didn't you have a web series that you were also writing, or was somebody else writing that?
Yeah, so the funny part with that, that was
The
another
couch,
piece.
the
Uh,
couch, what was his name?
Johnny B. Homeless.
That's right,
Johnny B.
Johnny B. Homeless.
Homeless,
Yeah,
the
living on people's stuff.
professional couch surfer. And
Yes.
the funny part with that, watching you and Patrick create, these projects and sketches and things like that, that was also another thing I paid attention to and got an
Hmm.
opportunity to experience to pay attention to the behind the scenes aspect of what it took to make these things and the hard work that producers and directors put together.
Yeah.
So you can have a project. So the second experience for me with being on the Cleveland show and going to the table reads or coming by to do record and things like that was I really enjoyed being able to peep into the writer's room and to be
Yeah.
at those table reads and to see how a network television show that was successful worked. And so
Yeah.
that was
No
really
doubt.
amazing to me. And for me coming up through, New York and the Columbia University films and through the NYU undergrad and graduate films, which, you had to get a reel in New York, and the only way you could get it was to be in student films so you
Hustle
can
on
build
Tiny Productions. Yeah.
big time. And so that really inspired me to start to create my own content because the issue that I started to have was I would go to these commercial auditions, like Mike said earlier, and you see the same guys all the time, so you somewhat end up establishing friendships. And you see this guy
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and he's cool. You see
Yeah.
this guy, and then maybe after audition you grab a coffee or you grab a beer and just kind of kick it. But you develop genuine friendships with a lot of other actors. So you develop these friendships, and then it got to a point where my buddy's working, I'm working, but then we say to each other, why haven't we worked together? I've known you for five,
Right.
10 years, and it was getting bad to the point where guys were asking me to be in their weddings, and we're
Right.
hanging out, we're playing in basketball tournaments together. But it's like, why aren't we working together? So then it clicks to you, well, why do I have to wait on the industry to approve certain
Mm-hmm.
things? Why do I have to wait for
Yeah.
a network to hire us two talented actors that see each other all the time? We support each other and go to each
Yeah.
other's plays or screenings. So that was the big kicker for me. Like,
Yeah.
you go in an audition lobby, so many talented friends. Well, why don't we do something together? So Johnny Be Homeless was the first, hey, Rob Hubel, project that I
QB
created
do.
myself. And for me, Sherman Payne, one of my Columbia graduate school directors, talented brother. And so actually was a writer on some Johnny B. Homeless episodes. And so for me, it was like, where did the idea come from? So I was living in New York, working and going back and forth to California. So you're still, aspiring actor, no real money. So I would sleep on all these couches,
Yeah.
and I slept on couches from my buddy that just never did laundry and had lots of roaches, and I would buy food and put it in the refrigerator, and he would eat it, and I would have no food. I
Yeah.
crashed on Wilma Valderrama's couch from the '70s show, you know what I mean? To all these different
Yeah.
arrangement of couches. And so I was like, man, this would be really cool to have a show about a guy who's a professional couch surfer. And so I
Couch. Yeah.
created Johnny Be Homeless, and contacted my NYU friends that also, because they were NYU students, had access to equipment, had access to camera,
Right.
had access to sound equipment.
Yep.
And I had done all their films for free. So they definitely owed me a favor or two. And so also, because of watching how Seth and you and everybody in the writer's room and how that worked, I knew that, I was a good writer and had good ideas, but I wasn't a TV or scripted writer per se. So I said, well, hey, why don't
Yeah.
I put together my own writer's room? And the one thing that I really enjoyed, that a lot of my NYU friends that came up to write or act, and another note to talent out there, is they knew that no matter what, I would finish the project we work on. And that was the thing
Yeah.
back in the day. It was a little more difficult because you had to pay for film and processing and things like that. But whatever you design or create, you got to finish it. You have to finish
Totally.
what you start, you know. But
Yeah.
people
And
believed in
you
me
you're
in
talking
that
about.
aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're talking exactly. I mean, you just did it. You as an actor, you're not in much control of the project. It's
Right.
great when you get acting work because you don't have to do anything except know your lines and show up, and then it's fun. Directors are up
Mm-hmm.
all night
Yep.
figuring out how this is going to work, that's going to work, script rewrites, writers are writing, producers are trying to get locations locked down. Actor, what time do I show up? Which is
Right.
great. I mean, that's the best, the most fun work. But to have your own voice heard, you need to write and you need to put a team together and find people that know how to shoot and edit, and somebody with a nice couch you can film on, whatever it is, and put a team together. And you have great awareness, Al. Like you're talking about being in the Royal Tenenbaums, you're showing up to a Wes Anderson movie that you have booked. It
Mm-hmm.
seems like kind of just common sense, but you'd be amazed how many people don't go ahead and watch the two movies that this man already made, so you have a
Right.
real sense of what you're doing and what the tone is, and how you need to be. So that, and then your awareness, you're talking about being at the Cleveland show or being on sets or watching my brother and I make our early work, you know, you're constantly studying all aspects of it. And I think that's why, you know, a big part of your success, that and, you know, a handsome fella who can act and be likable on screen, you know. So, you know, I would just say to people to obviously do the hustle, do the work, but, you know, pay attention, do the
Yeah,
homework, do the work that doesn't, you know, you got to know what you're doing. So,
right.
you know, keep it all out there. Oh,
Yeah.
Renaya, come on, don't be upset. That's Renaya. She's freaking out. She talked to Cleveland. Hey, Renaya, I love you, Renaya. Just kidding, honey. Yeah. Uh, yeah, man. So what do you want to do in the future? I saw my friend Scott Sutton threw that question up there. What's ahead for you? Do you want to do some big blockbuster film that you're kind of behind and you're going to star in, or do you want to just kind of keep doing what you're doing? Are you enjoying your life as it is? What you got?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture because, like Mike said earlier, our friendship dates back to 97, 96. So we've been doing this a really long time. And I'm sure you went through this stage, but, you know, we always want to work with phenomenal directors and get these great parts and opportunities and create. But you also have to take time to sit your butt down and take a break
Yeah.
because this industry is tough and it's not for everybody. There's tons of rejection. I mean, the amount of things that I've auditioned for
Oh, it's
and not
ridiculous.
get, it's
It's 1,000 to
unbelievable
1.
the numbers. So if you talk about starting 96, 97, and still being fortunate enough to be in the game 2020, that's a long time. So for
Yeah.
me, you know, to answer that, there's two pieces. And one was I needed to just take a time out because for me, because sometimes when you're in this business, you're
Mm.
scared to book a vacation because I might get this audition or I might get this part, or you're scared to do things, travel, take time out because you're so focused on becoming a star or getting this part or yada yada. But sometimes you have to
Yeah.
step back from that. So a part of it for me a few years ago was I realized I had been doing all this acting and doing all this working, but I had never seen the world. I had never
Yeah.
seen the world. Been to New York, been to LA, been down south where my family is from. Made, you know, a little trip to the Bahamas, but I had never seen the world.
Right.
And
So
as
you
an artist, you need to get
need
inspiration.
perspective.
You need to
Yeah.
pull things from other places. And so for me, I made a commitment to it's time for some Al time and see the world.
Yeah.
So I started that and I went nuts. Like you probably remember,
Yeah.
I went everywhere from Spain to Barcelona to Greece, Mykonos. I went to Serbia. I went to Ghana, Africa. I really went hard with it.
Right.
And it just fuels you to be able to take time and breathe because you got to check in with yourself in entertainment business. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
take that time to
Yeah.
check in with yourself. And I also said to myself, you know, it'd been a rough prior year, but I really wanted to become a better Oakland Raider fan.
I
Since
know
I
what you
was
did,
never
man. A couple
drafted,
years ago, you went to every single Raiders game a couple years ago. I remember that. And you know, you're nuts, man. Posting all these pictures. Y'all go to Al Thompson Inc. Is that your website? Is that your handle?
that's my Instagram handle, but the website where they can
That's your
see
Instagram.
work is althompson.net because althompson.com is a freaking plumbing company in Jamaica.
Oh, good. All right. Well, not to be confused. So yeah,
Right.
but your Instagram is full of these crazy, you know, you definitely get into
Yeah.
character going to the Raider games and have a blast doing that. So, you know, hey, Renaya, are you screen recording yet? Renaya, this will play for 24 hours after we finish on my Instagram story, and you can record it then, and you're wonderful. Go Eagles! Oh, that's brutal. You know, hats off to
Oh
the
yeah.
Eagles, man. You guys outcoached the Pats a couple years ago.
That's
I
my
don't like the
friend.
Eagles. I'm a
That's a
Cowboy
buddy of
fan.
mine. Yeah.
But
Yeah. He does a
oh,
lot of
okay,
drugs. You
okay,
could block him if you want. Yeah. Block Sean.
that's all right. Packers all day. They give me fits. But So you're talking about a life balance. You know, it isn't
Yeah.
all work. You got to live. You got to take a breath. Who did I play on American Dad? I played Jackson. Jackson works with Stan, and that's how he talks. He's basically just me, sort of goofy. But so this thing's going to cut us off at the top of the hour. By the way, I want to let you know that they give you a hard
Okay.
hour. They give you a hard out 1 hour after you punch in. But so
Okay.
so you've taken chances. You followed your instincts. It's time for me to take some time off. I'm going to go travel. Then you come back. You know it's an uphill climb to just get back into the game at that
Mm-hmm.
point. And so, you just take it one day at a time. What's up, Chris Brady? You remember Chris Brady, Patrick's
Right.
roommate from college? And
Yeah. Yeah.
you control today. You do what you can do today.
Right.
Hi,
Right.
Trellix. Hi, Trellix. Hi.
What's up, Trellix?
Um, so yeah, Al, you and me, we go years without seeing each other,
Yes.
and it's well, there he is, Josh Reed Dorkin. What's up, dude?
Josh, bigger pockets.
Um,
What's up, Chris
so
Brady?
uh, so so uh, you just got to go every day. Today I need to take a break. Yesterday I was having a rough day. The quarantine was crushing me. I was just like in kind of a funk and relatively just blessed compared to so many, to be able to just sit in my house with my family and we all get along and we have food and all that. But I was having a bad day and I just went and laid on the couch and turned on an Ali Frazier fight from 1971 that I recorded on ESPN. Played all these great boxing matches the other day. So
Right.
sometimes you got to just say, I am not going to do shit for an hour, 2 hours.
Right.
Today,
Right.
today I don't care. I'm not going to go and clean out that cabinet. I'm not going to, do whatever. I'm not going to work out. I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want and just take the day off,
Right.
and or take a year off and go travel around the world. It's the
Right.
same
Yeah.
thing. But that voice in you is going to get you back on track. All right,
Right.
it's time. All right, this is cool. I needed this. Now I can breathe again. Let's go get it.
Right.
It's like a running back. The hole dries up. You got to bounce outside, or wait till the next play to bust it open. You don't. You just have to find a way. And sometimes taking a minute is just fine.
Right. Right. Yeah. You need that. You have to recalibrate. You have to have those private conversations with yourself. Some people start families. This happened, that happened. So
Oh yeah,
you have to
yeah,
do
man.
that. You have to do
Yeah.
that.
Family happens and that becomes a huge part of your life. Back in the day, back early on, I was just like working all the time. I had you
Hmm.
know I had relationships, friendships, but everything was a backseat to what I was
Right.
working on because I was so driven and I just wanted to get this stuff on there and get it on and make stuff. And but now, I take a lot of time off for my family, and my family is the most
Right.
important thing. And
Right. As it should
it
be.
becomes it's all a balance, man. And we're all gonna die,
Right.
my brother passed away a few years ago, and he's and as you know, and then there are like three other guys from all those Burly Bear things that
Right.
we did. Eric Gelman
Yeah. Eric
was
Gelman.
was a
Yeah.
waiter in LA while he was acting, and he got freaking stabbed on the way to his car after a shift.
Yeah. Working at the
He
Grove.
was in that short.
Yeah.
He
He's
was
the
in the
guy on
one
the
with you.
couch. He's the guy on the
Yeah, that we
couch.
put up
Yeah.
today. That guy, his
Yeah.
life was stolen from him. And Andy Pigsley, who's a heavy set dude that was in a bunch of them. A guy named Paige Wilson was in one. The sound engineer at In Your Ear, who's mixed it all, passed away. It's been 20 years, but you look back on the good times and the production photos, and you're like, man, we were living. I remember I was
Hmm.
broke. I was broke. I was so in debt, but I was just, it was so alive. And
Right. Right.
over time, you just got to make the most because you don't know when you're gonna check out of here, and you
Right.
also, just gotta take care of people around you and live your best life.
You
And
got you got to do it. You got to live. Now, I have a question. Do you remember when you were grinding and struggling in New York? Do you remember one or two survival jobs that you have? Because everybody, actors, we have some interesting survival jobs a lot of times that
yeah,
people don't know about. But
You know what
what were
sucks?
one or two of yours?
We're going to be cut off in 26 seconds.
We got to come back because I know that people have questions too.
I was a whore. I was a pimp and a whore. No, I'm just kidding. Herbert time. Al, we're going to get cut off. Bunt is saying, love you, Al. Stay safe. Much love to you, man. And stay safe. And we'll catch it soon.
We'll get it part 2 again at some point. Love you, brother.
Let's do it. All right. You too, bud.